Hey guys, well, it is time. It is time at long last for us to return to Star Wars versus 40K. Guys, I am already seeing multiple threats of exterminatus in the chat for people spoiling things, so there is apparently something big is going to happen, okay? Apparently something large is about to happen. Welcome to Tuesday, guys. The Star Wars vs. 40K time. It's Fan here. Reason I'm running a little bit behind, guys, because I was on the way home, and I almost, while I was on the road, I almost found myself face to face with a large deer. I'm just saying it that way, and that's never a good sign. You'll need all the nukes, two-stage cyclonic torpedoes, virus bombs. The chat was stupid thirsty in fans chat. What? What? Oh, good lord. Here we go. Dawn the crimson lights of war. The lion lives. This is very true, guys. The lion is back. I'm not stripping. Major Kill may strip, but Major Kill has time to work on his body. I don't, okay? My body looks like a train wreck. I'm just saying. I have bigger titties than you do. Anyhow, so, guys, I've been looking forward to this. Ever since Tar Weiler revealed that he's an Alpha Plus Psyker, I've been looking forward to the next couple of segments. Ever since the space battle started and the arrival of the Mechanicus and the Space Marines happened, I've been looking forward to the next arcs. I have been looking forward. Oh my good God, I have been looking forward to so much. Show us your bald spot? No, I will not. Guys, two things. Number one, I have finished my first SCP script. It is done. The first SCP script I have ever written is now done. I'm going to be running it by the A5 Council in the Discord later tonight. We'll see what they think. And then we'll go on from there. Secondly, recording is starting on the very next 5-ish minute lore, which is going to debut on the new channel, Old Man Lore Stories and Theory, which sooner or later I'm going to be putting that up. And what's going to wind up happening with that is going to be on a member of the Night Lords named Jindor Shrivok. And Diclonius is going to yell at me because I'm mispronouncing his name. So, who's ready for Star Wars vs. 40K? Who's ready to see this? Because I know I am. X is in the chat if you're ready to go. Because I'm ready to go. Are we ready? SCP-40,000, the Tau Hater. Yes! 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 What med pump? What is this med pump you're talking about? Does my body make Herman von Straub look skinny? No. Look, let's just put it this way. A hippopotamus fed a steady diet of Doritos and baby fat would still look like flat-out beach body ready next to Herman von Straub, okay? Jen is in gun, Scry is in day. What? The red lights, turn them on now. We need them for this horror. Okay, hold on a second. I will do so. Red lights it is. Red lights it is, guys. Boop, boop, boop. Hold on. Red lights it is. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Boom. Is that better? Red lights it is, guys. Herman von Blob? Yeah, you're right. All right. Thank you, Prophet. Mood lighting is set. The boxes are locked. It's robot fighting time. Let's get into it. That was terrible? I know. Shut up. I feel terrible for even doing it. Assassinorum Temple? Eversor. Duh.
spires glittered like living jewels, each one a small scion of light born of the stars. The strafing shots
Excellent
of
chat to
blaster
Nuke
and
Chris.
dazzled her eyes like spikes of chem-induced
No one gets to say that the tout would do well ever.
ecstasy. Every fierce flare and luminescent shower hearkening to the great, dark purpose she had been shaped to fulfill. All the movement, the noise, like a never-ending festival of constant action, and the price of admission was no more or less than life. Yours or someone else's. The battlefield below the petite killer was a scattering of subconscious and interconscious beauty which could not but stutter her breath in her chest. The broken assassin rocked gently on her heels, perched on the very ledge of one of the spires, ignoring the languid chatter which came from behind her, where stood her master's two other companions, each so far back in the priority of her attention that they may as well have been invisible spirits. Before her, after a steep drop, was an overlook they had found to wait for Master Weiler and his orders, and from here she could see nearly the entire Basilica battle as it played out. So many colors, so many different kinds of heat, explosions, and struggle. So many varied flavors of death. The sky itself was slowly dying red as the smoke from the battle grew higher and higher, obscuring the sun and leaving only one color of light to slip by.
Is she kicking her feet watching Genocide? I think I like this person already.
Crouched, her toes hanging slightly over the edge, her enhanced eyes ached dully in her skull as she watched on with unblinking, predatory readiness. The bright blue spheres vibrating eagerly in her sockets.
Thank you, Prophet. With this over, I'll know fear. Okay.
Within her sight in rapid succession. Her cheeks bulged, each one containing a half-depleted jawbreaker which she noisily rolled around with her tongue. The circular lumps of sugar being worn down by her constant slurping and sucking. The dormant weapon savored the constant drip of sugar she got from the two hard candies, letting their stimulating flavor flow from her mouth and up to her brain, triggering small surges of adrenaline and endorphins, associated as it was with the heaviest of her combat stims. Hecate shuddered, muscles twitching, augmentations temporarily rousing, as she allowed the memories those devastating chemicals had branded into her very blood soothe over the assassin's twisted, uneasily slumbering mind. Her need to do as she had been trained to struggled against the mental safeties of her first face. Her second and third held down in nets of sleep, mimetically cast and conjured within the walls of her thoughts. But, at least for the moment, the nets were strong, and her thin first face grinned manically down at the sprawling scene before her eyes. Lights, movement, sweetness, fun, all things which pleased and strengthened the first face of Hecate. The face her master chose to keep around the most
Calidus?
often. The young woman had gone entire missions in this face, gleefully tailing his serious business, enjoying the novelty and opportunity to see new things, taste new sweets, and sometimes, very rarely, do some killing. As her first face, she very scarcely was allowed to kill. That face was her safe face, the mind she turned to leisure, allowing most of her meticulously scavenged brain to sleep, fitfully writhing behind.
X in chat to Nuke Jarrett. X in chat to Nuke Mr. Reich. And Nuke Prophet on General Principle.
Her shimmering blue eyes. Hecate delighted in her first face, but most, if not all, of the time she spent in that face felt like a dream. Fun, meaningless, light as air, and heavy as thick blanket sheets. She didn't mind it when she could remain in this face, where time moved fast and slow, where laws were mixed and mingled, made smooth and easy, and where her past and future were an equal blur. But there was a sharpness she lost in it, a reduction of who and what she was. Did the gun enjoy resting in the holster? Does the blade not mind modestly hiding in its sheath? Perhaps, but only when given the promise of future service, of the ability to one day come alive once more and be of use. She hated her waking self, her second and third faces both. But it galled her dreaming self to dance through entire missions, months and months, without truly opening her eyes even a single time. But suddenly, Hecate saw that this mission would not be like most of the others. Her muscles tensed and stilled, an automatic process beginning within her mind, like dominoes of colossal size, slowly swaying and falling into one another, one at a time. It was not the rush of Republic soldiers moving in towards the fight, or the swarms of rebels overcoming the walls, or even the arrival of their battleships in the air above them, which triggered this awareness within her and began the change. After all, such things were above the considerations of this face of hers. No, what alerted her and triggered the conversion that was occurring even then within her was the bright red flare she suddenly spotted arching into the air above the fight.
This next part is about to be some real shit, ain't it? Excellent shot for real shit. Let's go. Oh, and by the way, Robert, you don't get to deflect my nukes. I saw that. Your pitiful attempt at deflecting a nuke. Enjoy the bath of warm and the Emperor's love.
Crimson in a very specific way, and pulsing in a very peculiar pattern, the signal was unmistakable to her segmented mind, and at the sight, a million eyes within her began to creak open. She felt cobwebs falling away, a new awareness unfurling itself within her, and she felt her mouth begin to water behind her straight white teeth. Her blue eyes became wide, and then even wider and wider still. The distant beacon flickered in her vision, calling to something hidden, signaling the depths of memory and action which had been sleeping beneath a mimetic veil. That veil now parted and dissolved in a vortex of mental components which all streamed into place as rehearsed. Vivid recollections of running across a bleak surface came into focus, of worn striking mats, and hours spent pushing her fists into them. Machine faces with barely scraps of flesh left on them lifted her arms and legs, measured her, asked her questions. Push and push and push, always pushing her, then restraining her, exploding who and what she had been, and then collecting the pieces and building her anew. This arm was not her arm. It was his weapon. This leg was not her leg. It was his weapon. This life was not her life. It was his weapon.
Yes!
Her face began to dry away and withdraw, like water caught on the surface of an ascending void craft, the bright red flashes of the flare unanchoring a hook within her and dragging out something far more substantial from deep, deep beneath the surface of her thoughts. Visions of change, of biting down into a medical bit as she hung, suspended above cruel metal hands, hands which opened her skin and operated on her body in the same manner as they may for a vehicle or complex gun.
She's an Eversor. Is she an Eversor?
They needed to make her better. They needed to make her change so that she could fit comfortably into his hand.
Is she an Eversor?
Segmented portions of Hecate's mind came awake in a rush, each carved away from her greater whole, specialized, generalized, and reintegrated. To a mind reader, her thoughts would prove cavernous, scattered, and united all at once, grasping at her will, being no better than grasping a cascade of worms.
Is she an
able to
Eversor?
infect so many with only 2 hands. Her densely came alive after weeks of dormancy.
Hold on. I got a song for this. I really do. Hold on. Yes. Hold on. Okay, I'm done. Okay. Who does not know what an Eversor assassin is? Who does not know? K in chat if you don't know what an Eversor assassin is. Just let me know, okay? Just let me know if you don't know. Okay, so Eversor assassins. Okay, so there's about 7 main clades of assassins in the Imperium. But the main 4, there's one that deals with like happy accidents, there's one that deals with poisons, there's one that deals with something I can't quite remember. But the main 4 are Vendikar, which is snipers. You have Calidus, which is basically they are infiltrators. So basically a sniper, an infiltrator. The third one is called Calidus. Calexis. And a Calexis are anti-psyker, and they're extremely powerful. Then you have Eversor. To put it to you like this. A Vendikar assassin is going to let everyone on the planet know that you screwed up. And that Daddy Emperor is pissed at you. Because you're going to die. In some way, shape, or form. A Calidus, you're just going to disappear. Daddy Emperor is pissed at you. But everybody's going to think that you just faded away. A Calexis assassin is there to kill Eldar. And, Psychers, pretty much. But, an Eversor assassin, you don't need to worry about innocent bystanders thinking that the Emperor's pissed. You don't need people in the city to know that the Emperor's pissed. Because the sheer fact of the matter is, if a Vendikar assassin takes you out, it's going to be on the 6 o'clock news. If a Calexis assassin takes you out, everybody's going to be seeing missing posters of you. If a Calidus assassin takes you out, same thing. If an Eversor assassin takes you out, it is instantaneous national news, natural disaster types of shit. Okay? Imagine giving the Doom guy about 50 pounds of coke and then basically giving him the equivalent of 10 tons of LSD, shove that all inside of him, and then set him loose. Everyone within 5 city blocks is going to know exactly where you are and exactly what you're going to do. An Eversor assassin is nothing more or less than a self-propelled nuclear bomb. Okay? That's how screwed up it is. Jared Hicks, happy accident assassin? So Bob Ross? Very true. Very true. She's Doom Guy's big sister. Thank you, Prophet. This is very true. The level of destruction that an Eversor assassin is going to unleash is going to let you know that literally everyone in the Imperium is going to know that you have pissed off the Emperor. The Emperor is not mildly upset at you. He doesn't just want to have a talk with you. He wants to violently fucking kill you. That's what an Eversor assassin is. That's what she is. And that's the reason she's sucking on those candies, because they suppress the drugs that are currently going through her system that would kill an elephant if even a tenth of it was in her system. Oh my god. Okay, to put it to you like this. With an Eversor going down into this battle, the Republic is screwed versus one person. This place is screwed. Robert, she's more overpowered. Anyhow, Eversor waifu? Yeah, go ahead and hug her board. We'll find your spleen 5 football fields away from the rest of your body. Yeah.
And with
Oh my God.
Augmentations buried deep within every inch.
Oh yeah, thank you, Christian, for reminding me. And even if you manage to kill the Eversor, when they die, the chemicals that are in their system, if improperly mixed, turn into what amounts to a thermonuclear bomb. So even if you kill the assassin, you're still gonna die. Jarrett Hicks, so let's just put a happy bolt over there because everybody needs a friend. This is true, Jarrett. This is very true. Thank you, bud. Do death companies ever employ Eversors? No. Death companies would think Eversors are overkill. Eversors do more damage than death companies. Because remember, death company's there for an objective. Eversor is there to liquefy the objective.
Inch of her body rumbled and stirred into activity. Recollections of hardening, of growing, of getting stronger, feeling faster, feeling better. Even in recovery, they forced her to walk, to bend slowly against her injuries, to become immune to pain, and then more than immune. Her knuckles hardened, her bones creaking within her as they grew thicker and thicker, the better to brace the improvements drilled into and through them. Endoskeletal servos began to whine inside her flesh, waking with a burn that filled her muscles from neck to toes. Organic, implanted nodules which harvested her body's hormones and nutrients suddenly reversed their flows, no longer ambiently draining her to create their stock, but now dripping their storage of artificially synthesized combat and rejuvenation drugs directly into her blood. Fire filled her from head to toe, bringing with it images within her mind, images of tests, of successes, and of failure. She was bound to a chair, strips of cloth covering her eyes, like an animal which may panic at the first sight of the unfamiliar. An argument was being had, words she understood, but could barely hold in her mind. A thick, uncomfortable device, a collar of some kind, pushed her chin up slightly and pressed harsh barbs into her neck.
Good times rhymes with war crimes. This Eversor is surprisingly stable. Most times an Eversor, there's only been a few Eversors in history that have been able to carry on a coherent conversation. There's only been a few of those in history that have ever been able to suppress that. Apparently she's one of them. This is an extreme rarity. If she's able, mentally to suppress all this crap, this is, she is beyond rare for Eversor. But I will tell you this. If somebody just said in chat, has it got worse? It's worse.
The barbs were metal and alive.
Yes.
Filling her with a gentle poison that made everything around her swim and slide in a narcotic haze. They had worked so hard on her to make her right, to make her fit, but it was all for naught. Hecate bore the terrible taint within her, a demonic power which was not meant for her, for she was to be a tool of purity, uncorrupted, clean only when covered in blood.
Good times!
But now she was a waste, impure, lost to the cause. The taint made her body frailer than was expected, and it compromised her connections to the One. The only thing left for her was liquidation and recycling of what could be taken back. But this was not a judgment she was hearing, though she had judged herself. It was an argument, and against the points thus made, a powerful voice contended back against them. She would never be purely his weapon, the weapon of the god of mankind. But she could become his weapon, the weapon of his voice, of his word, Wyler's weapon, his tool for rendering the greater judgment. But she was too weak to finish the temple's course, to survive all of the augmentations. The voice did not care. The master looked upon her flaws, and behind her blindness, she had felt his smile. I will finish what was started. I will make something useful from what you call a failure. In the name of my family, I'll not let her go to waste.
Wait a minute!
The Wyler had said then.
That's not Tar
years
Wyler.
ago.
That's not Tar Wyler.
Hecate breathed out a breath of cold hoarfrost as the psychic eye which invisibly adorned her mind creaked open, making the air around her body wave as though subject to extreme heat. And her true eyes, once blue as the sky, began to shift their color as the invisibly small silver tubes which lined her irises began to flood her augmented eye lenses with specialized crimson particles, designed to shield her from flashes and explosions, as well as extend her overlapping vision into the infrared spectrum. They dyed her vision and brought her true self to the fore.
Our buddy the Inquisitor, the Inquisitor, my brain just hurt.
Hecate stood up straight on the ledge, red eyes wide.
Yes, I know who it is.
Toes still hanging over the lip of an impossibly high drop. Her body vibrated with countless internal transformations, skin shivering and shaking before gradually settling into blade-like stillness. And all the while, the awakened assassin smoothly reached into her long, black trench coat with both arms, grasping to either side of her long, dark garment. Her right hand withdrew itself in a smooth flourish, a curved black knife clutched between each of her knuckles, each blade humming softly as their edges caressed the air. The other hand drew forth no weapon, raising the object high into the air over her head as she whipped her right arm out to the side. Hecate turned her head and spat out the two half-finished motes of sugar she had been sucking on, letting them bounce off the rim of the drop and watching them fall before she faced forward again and carefully placed the object over the skin of her suddenly blank expression. A bone-white mask, perfectly fitted to her face, fell over her features, caressing the skin of her expression and adhering with a hiss and a
I see a war crime to commit. The facial feature.
click. And with that, her third face was now turned, blazing deeply crimson beneath the customized pale mask which proclaimed her imperial path. Her sister's face, her retraining, her home, and then her new home. Images of raw pain and emotion rocked over and against her open eyes, but she blinked them away with a practiced ease, converting that trauma into a pure, vibrant desire for violence. Without any further delay, Hecate crossed her arms, one empty, one holding a wicked blade between each finger, and twisted, turning and dropping down off of the ledge and into a certainly lethal drop. The nearly complete agent of the Eversor temple twirled as she fell, turning and spinning rapidly, becoming a drill as the air whistled in her ears and blew back her long blonde hair. The broken assassin felt no fear. In fact, she barely felt the thrill of her fall at all. It took much more than that to stir the blood of the third face of Hecate unleashed. She spun down and suddenly plunged into a small legion of speeder bikes which blitzed through the air directly below her path.
I just want to see how this turns out, guys. Don't cut away from this. Why? This is the best timeline.
Arrested her momentum 50 feet below the ground, catching a passing vehicle, moving with the momentum of her spinning fall to throw herself up and
W
over
in chat
one
for war
side of the
crimes.
bike. Hecate kicked one of the two clones who rode the speeder off with a long-legged strike, and used her knife-bearing hand to tear through the face and head of the other clone, who was actually at the controls. He fell away like a limp sack of dead porgs, and Hecate settled into the seat, her sin-skin suit squeaking as her hands slid over handles and triggers. The assassin felt a deep, mental clench, one eye twitching as a specialized part of her segmented brain asserted itself, quickly comparing the controls she felt and saw to over 10,000 similar designs, which had been loaded into her mind, taken from both Imperial and Xenos sources. Her hands flicked across the various buttons, dials, and throttles, causing the bike to stutter and drop out of the air like a downward thrown lance. Yet, less than a second later, she pulled the bike back up, flying between the hundreds of others which hovered about in all directions, grinning to herself as she amalgamated a control scheme for herself. Several clones took note of the hijacking, the second clone mounted on each of the alerted bikes aiming a blaster to try to shoot her down, and wasting little time in filling the air around them with the bright blue glare of their blaster bolts. Seeing this, eyes bouncing and darting inside her mask, Hecate drifted to the left and maintained her level and flight speed until they began to shoot. Swinging her legs to one side to ride side-saddled, while veering hard to the right and spinning the speeder bike in the air, Hecate revved its repulsor drive to maximum and sent herself flying across the air in a low arc. The trail of shots that chased her almost instantly veered into lethal crossfire, shooting two other bikes down before her arching spin terminated, slamming into the side of another speeder bike in the process, both exploding as they collided. But while the two clones on the other bike perished during the sudden detonation, Hecate had already thrown herself up and off the bike by the time it crashed, using its shockwave to push her just a little further into the air, hooking another one of the bikes and swinging onto its back. She briefly scuffled with a surprised clone there, but tore his arms away with jagged swipes of her knife-bearing hand, throwing him over the side as he screamed. Mask spattered in red, she leapt onto
This is light compared to what I thought it was going to be. It's light, but it's going to get worse.
To the back of the driver, breaking his neck and sliding him smoothly out of his seat before.
So within 15 seconds of her becoming activated, she's already committed 2 counts of murder 1 and 2 counts of grand theft auto, and now she's committed intent to kill and homicide, assault and battery with a deadly weapon with grievous bodily harm. Within 15 seconds of her being activated, she's already committed 4 crimes. Let's go.
Taking control. The bikes around her scattered, curving around to try to follow her and get behind her, but by now, they were coming close to the Imperial Wall. The devastated structure was pocked with holes and blasts, melted down almost halfway to its length by turbo laser blasts, and clearly already overrun. Eyes wide with building adrenaline, Hecate sped up as they came for her, crouching down and lowering her body's profile as she angled for one of the blast craters in the side of the fortification, cracking a jagged grin beneath her mask as she shrank down as much as she could against the silhouette of the speeder bike she now rode. This helped her to avoid the shots that soon came chasing after, blue bolts of plasmatic fury scorching the air around her as the clones behind her opened fire. But that...
Fan's here! Everybody, X in chat to welcome Fan. Fan, what have you done unleashing an Eversor?
That was not an issue for the Imperial assassin, who knew a good trick to buy
vehicular
herself the
manslaughter.
time she would need to reach the wall.
Now she's evading the police. Like she's only been activated for 20 seconds here.
Hecate spun her speeder to avoid their tracking, dervishing it long ways this time while keeping her on course. The twirling bike managed to confuse the rear fire long enough to enable her to lance into the hole she had been aiming for, clearing it completely. Or at least, clearing the first hole completely. But while the weapon that had blasted the wall here had indeed managed to penetrate the other side, the hole there was much smaller, too small to allow a speeder bike through. In the fraction of a second she had after coming through the first breach, she angled her bike down, eyes vibrating in her skull, grin now a death-seeking smirk which covered her hidden face, tense and ready. She leapt off the bike as it veered down, bringing her arms and legs in tightly, still spinning with the momentum of her bike and clearing the second hole only by the skin of her teeth, the speeder slamming violently into the wall beneath her. Again, she was falling, this time twirling all the way down to the ground, converting her sideways spin into a frontward one. Her arms and legs curled in as she hit the metal floor, spinning, moving like a wheel, rolling with her momentum before springing open in a way which would have seemed natural to a droideka, knives splayed in her hand. All around her were rebels and clones, most of them too busy already fighting with the Imperial Guardsmen they were surrounding, or with charging towards the Basilica to notice her. A fatal mistake on their part, and one most never realized as Hecate slid to a standing position, clenched her curved knives tightly, and began to deal death. Her booted feet pumped, artificial muscle strands straining against reinforced bones as she accelerated herself to an utterly inhuman speed. As she did, the assassin lashed out, left and right, knives cutting the air alongside her swift feet, spinning in the midst of battle, each blade juggled from one hand to the next.
Okay, so let's just say it. Obi-Wan Kenobi dropping down on Grievous. Hello there. This is how you make an entrance. Within 2 seconds of, she just drops down, kicks dudes off their own bikes, drives her bike into another bike, throws herself through a hole that was made by another weapon, and then as soon as she starts landing, it's no time for introductions, no time for commiseration, no time for conversation. We have arrived. We are here to have good times, so commence war crime. Here we go.
Fully caught in her cavorting dance of death, Hecate began opening throats and twisting blasters out of clenched fists, breaking them open along their centers like long metallic eggs. Some of these blasters had glowing cylindrical containers called Tabana gas housings, which would come free after the blaster was broken open in a particular way. Sometimes these canisters had cracks or damage on them from the maneuver. These Hecate left behind to explode in her wake, blowing bloody holes in the lines of the Republic soldiers before they even had time to realize what was among them. But some of these containers were whole and unbroken, and these she snatched out of the air, collecting them in her left hand and juggling them between her fingers until she had 5. And as soon as she had collected all the
She's doing all this while collecting new toys. I love her.
glowing blue vials she would need, the dancing killer came to where she was going and where she would need to put these glowing blue tubes of explosive gas to use. Before her, being steadily surrounded by Republic troops, but currently dueling 2 Jedi Masters, was her own master, Samael Weiler. He was on the ground.
Mace, the person who has your wallet is here. It's the one with bad motherfucker on it. She's got the purse.
On his back, staving off a purple blade of light with his flickering, flashing white saber. He appeared to be mere moments from being overwhelmed and killed, a thought which instantly soured all of the flavor in the assassin's mouth. In response to that sight, the third face of Hecate released a scream taken and amplified by the technology in her mask, which shielded her ears from the following sonic blast. The hateful killer cartwheeled towards the assailants, converting her breakneck forward speed into upward force as she leapt into the air, her arms crossed over her chest. At the apex of her leap, she uncrossed her arms, running her blades over the vials, slashing them just as she let them fly. Having thrown them like glowing shuriken knives into the gathering forces around her master, Hecate landed as a ring of colorful explosions surrounded the 3 combatants, the assassin dropping right in amongst them. She had planned to plant her feet in the face of the man assailing her master, a bald Jedi with an amethyst blade. But he seemed to sense her coming. Lifting his forearm and turning, he absorbed her twin kicks into his block, his blade still pressing down against her master's weapon. But in that moment, when he was forced to redirect his attention to Hecate, Mace Windu gave Samael the chance the Inquisitor had been waiting for, and he took it. Grunting with effort, the large Imperial man bent and arched, kicking the Jedi Master in the back of the head with a thick boot. The blow shook the bald man, leaving him open for Hecate's next attack.
Bye.
Still crouching against his forearm, pinned there by the force with which she had dropped the face.
There is no way in which I see Mace Windu surviving this. There is no way in any way that I see Mace Windu actually living through this. I'm just going to say that right now. I think Mace Windu is dead. I think he's past dead, okay?
Failed Eversor assassin pushed back, planning to flip away from Mace's guard and kick him across the face in the same instant. She very nearly accomplished it, but another hand blocked the kick.
Yes,
for
Robert.
Windu, the second Jedi sliding in and grabbing her speeding shin, absorbing the force with no small amount of warp trickery. Face bright with a challenger's grin, the blonde Jedi who had blocked her kick closed his fist around her leg, whipping around on his heel and throwing her with superhuman strength. Hecate spun in the air, absorbing that momentum as well, and landing on all fours like a predatory cat, smoothly rising and tossing 2 knives into the air, catching them with her free hand as she stalked forward. Her master had also taken the chance to kick off from the ground and roll away, avoiding 2 sloppy down chops from the purple blade-wielding Jedi who he had been facing. The bald Jedi slid back after,
I don't
shaking his
see
head
him
in
living.
pain and regrouping with the other Jedi Knight, blade before him, wounded arm positioned behind. In the same vein, Hecate slid over to her master's side, her movements elegant and controlled, especially compared to his own motions, his legs staggering as he coughed blood. He glanced in her direction, appraising her as he did. Within her was a churning heat, a frenzied need to move, to compete, and to win through death. Her skin was tingling, her heart rate had finally risen, and her anticipation was so high she could feel her mouth watering again. Death! She needed more death! The augments inside of her ached to be strained, and her blood felt molten with the amount of chemicals which had flooded her veins. Hecate, pass me a stim. He growled, looking forward once more. Sighing impatiently, she did so, carefully but quickly reaching into her long jacket with her offhand and drawing out a needle and vial, already adjoined. She tossed the injector his way in the same moment. Samael caught it in his own offhand, using his thumb to flick off the plastic safety over the actual needle and stabbing it into his leg without hesitation. A bloom of warm heat was suddenly expelled out into his body from the point of that contact. The hot, itchy waves of sensation moving through his body and stealing pain from his myriad injuries. The Inquisitor breathed out a groan which gradually became elated, pulling the empty vial out of his leg and tossing it aside. Better. He grunted, his eyes and Hecate's locked onto those of the two Jedi across from them. Much better, he affirmed, wiping some of the blood from his chin. Do you have a preference, Lord Weiler? She asked, voice slick with vicious intentions. Samael nodded grimly and thumbed in the direction of the bald Jedi Master. You take blue, I'll take purple, he ordered, rising to his full height and wiping more blood from his lips. Yes, hissed Hecate, slinking off to the left, eyes now only on Obi-Wan. Hecate, cover me, 3-to-5 ratio, her master added, making her frown under her mask and sigh again. I cannot promise a kill if you make me a bodyguard, she whined. Killing isn't the primary objective here, Heck. We're trying to get out of here. Use combat doctrine Warlock Prime on the Jedi. Understand? He ordered her more gruffly. She did not respond, instead twitching a little, red eyes boring holes.
Guys, I like Obi-Wan more than the next man, but this is overkill on a level that's just absolutely absurd.
To Obi-Wan's face. Understand, Hecate? He pressed. She nodded hastily. Yes, fine. 3-to-5, Warlock Prime. Can I try to kill him now? She snapped back, her voice agitated, her skin continuing to twitch. The Jedi she was staring down smirked. My dear, I'll be impressed if you can even keep up.
One should know with one whom idly does not fuck with.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves and claim a kill just yet.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a foregone conclusion.
His blue eyes flashing in direct opposition to her red ones. Hecate smirked more widely, licking her lips under her mask. She was going to enjoy this one, she could already tell.
And now, oh my god! Oh my god! Okay, so, she did not the complete, oh my god. Oh, number one, these new headphones, I'm telling you, makes the listening experience, Obi-Wan's about to get he is about to get the pimp hand like nobody's damn business. Christian Kepley says, now with the assassin imagine the Legion of the Damned, the Emperor's very own demons appearing, that'd scare the crap out of the Jedi, the warp entities. Yes, very true. First of all, fan, what is in your search history? Secondly, Obi-Wan's gonna... There's a reason his hair turns white. Oh my god, he is underestimating that. Okay. Let's put it this way. A fully fledged Eversor assassin, a full-on, full-out, 100% Eversor assassin, is going to effortlessly beat the brakes off a Space Marine. And just almost effortlessly. Obi-Wan is talking shit to someone that would eventually lose, but would stand toe-to-toe with a custodian for a while. And even the custodian wouldn't be able to kill her because he'd be killing himself. Ripoff Productions LLC says, to be fair, they did just come off beating a librarian. Overconfidence pretty justified after that. Ripoff, do you remember how many people were dead or injured after they finished off said librarian? Look, I'm pretty proud of myself. But if I take 50 people and go beat the shit out of Mayweather, I'm not going to start talking shit to Mike Tyson when I'm by myself and fighting him one-on-one. That's really stupid. Now, okay. 3 things with her being incomplete as an Eversor. Number 1, she may not have the durability. She definitely has the cognitive function. She 100% has the cognitive function. She 100% has most of the augmentations. Those are the 2 really big things. She may not have the precise drug cocktail, but she has enough of it, okay? So, even if she's only 50%, even if she's only 50% complete as an Eversor assassin, even if she's only 50% complete, Obi-Wan stands not a damn chance in hell. Prophet says they didn't beat a librarian, they survived a librarian. This is true. Oh my God. Obi-Wan is about to... The chances of Obi-Wan getting stomped out is going to be stunning. Just stunning. The Weilers use Warp Skate to fill in the gaps? Yes. Yeah, that and, well, she's a psyker? Yeah. I noticed what you said. At first, I was sitting... I had to think for a second, because when he was talking about the third eye, that would mean... Now, most Eversors aren't psychers. In fact, making an Eversor that is a psyker into an Eversor is asking for real fuckery, and that's probably why she didn't make the cut in the first place. That's probably why she... You guys heard! They talked about the third eye opening. At first, I thought she might have been a navigator, but she's not wearing anything to cover up the navigator portion of the head. So, with her being a psyker, that's probably why she didn't make the cut to begin with, because sometimes they can't detect that in children, and that's when they would have started training her as an Eversor. That makes things so much worse. Most Eversor are incapable of carrying on a conversation. Most times they wind up here's what an Eversor is. A fully fledged Eversor most times, okay? If you are an Eversor, you are taken, you are trained, you get the experimentation done to you, you get many invasive surgery, your skeleton gets replaced, they pump you full of a chemical compound that is outright ridiculous and would be lethal in every single instance known to man except in those quantities. They then, because you're so dangerous, put you into a cryogenic cell and then hold on to you until they're ready to deploy you. At that point, they drop you from orbit in front of everyone. The Inquisition ship rolls up. Everybody looks up saying, hey, there's a big ship up there with an eye on it. And then it launches a pod down. And then within 20 seconds of that pod landing, everyone knows the Inquisition is massively pissed off at someone. If they're not already dead. Because, holy crap. No, Eversors are not blanks, Tony Yule. That would be the Calexis Temple. That would be the Calexis Temple. Wow. He needs to turn her off before the rain. Yep. So, yeah. Samuel is way more scary. Just way more scary. Could she be a demi navigator? No, not really, Phalius. I don't think it would really be that. There's a lot that can be her. There's not a lot that can survive her. This is very true. The longer the third face on an axis, the stronger it becomes. Yep. Yeah, an Eversor assassin. Yeah, Robert. An Eversor assassin would be quite literally the Inquisition's middle finger. Imagine if the Calexis is there. Oh God, they'd be able to drive the Jedi insane. That's accurate. If the Calexis Temple was deployed yeah, but see, here's the problem. The Jedi are still trained warriors, but the Calexis assassin would most definitely make their skulls pop. Oh, Kenobi isn't hearing boss music, William. Kenobi is that guy who thinks he's good at video games, and then you give him Dark Souls on heroic mode, okay? They would never make a navigator and assassin. Naz aren't mutants. They're a consistent species of abhumans. That is very true. That is very true what fans said. The Calexis also have a soul-destroying gun, so that's also fun. Yes. I don't think Samuel is Ordo Xenos. I'm not I think they might belong to two separate divisions of the Inquisition based off how they are actually acting. Samuel Weiler strikes me more... He strikes me more as a witch hunter. While Tar Weiler, on the other hand, he strikes me more as... Xenos. Ordo, probably either Ordo, yeah, no, Malleus. Yeah, both of them are Malleus. I think both of them are Malleus. Samuel's just more on the conservative side, and Tar is massively on the other end of that spectrum. Guys, what the hell? The last thing I expected was an Eversor waifu. That's not what I expected. And all of you belong in horny jail, especially you, fan, for concocting this creature. Because, damn. You're pretty sure fans said they don't belong to any of the big three? Well, there are a lot of there are a lot of sub-ordos. Ordo Xenos, that's why he's hunting gene stealers. You know, Declonius, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Samuel hunting the gene stealer would make it make sense, okay? But I seriously think Tar Weiler would be Ordo Malleus. So there we go. Horny jail will hold you forever, William. You're both scared and turn on at the same time, boss. Prophet, would you not, like, you pop tense over descriptions of Night Lords. I don't want to hear it. Do you think the writer's going to pull Obi-Wan's Do you think that the writer's going to pull Obi-Wan's Deus Ex Machina card with Qui-Gon Jinn helping him from the Force? You know what? Honestly, I don't know of anything it's going to take something that God, how do I even put this in a way that you guys are going to understand it? Just how dangerous Eversor are. It's going to... How to best phrase this? At this point, it's going to take something so massive to save Obi-Wan's ass here, because in all honesty, if I were to take an Eversor assassin and pit them against any Jedi, even Yoda, I would say that Jedi has about as much chance as a kerosene cat in hell with gasoline pants on actually making it through the next 5 minutes. Eversor assassins have killed companies of Space Marines. Okay? Companies. Ugh. She hinted Obi-Wan might be able to survive due to the doctrine she is using. Maybe. What about the demon host? I don't even want to think about the demon host. I don't even want to consider the demon host. This is just screwed up. It's just not fair. God. Every single time I sit there and I think, oh man, we just hit bottom. We just keep on hitting bottom. It gets worse. So let's recap how screwed they are, okay? Let's recap how screwed the Republic forces are, okay? Let's recap. Let's just do a quick recap in the brain. There is an Alpha Plus member of what appears to be the Ordo Malleus on planet. There is a virus bomb on the planet that is controlled by said psychopath. There is another Inquisitor on the planet that has control of an Eversor assassin. There is in orbit as of right now a Space Marine fleet and a Mechanicus fleet in inclusion to the fleet that's already there. And you have a Krieger with one arm. I have nothing, guys. Jesus Christ. Imagine if Kaon invites any of his chaos. Yes! And in orbit, Kaon is currently corrupting Anakin Skywalker. Oh, God. It just keeps getting worse. It just keeps getting worse. Yeah, imagine if Kaon invites any Chaos Buddies. Nah. Oh, and there's a Custodes there. There is a custodian. I think I'm good, guys. I think I'm good. Kate in 1313. Ahsoka, I don't know what Ahsoka's gonna do. I really don't know. Yeah, Anakin's being smooth brain. The custodian's there. Kato Sicarius, we don't need anything, okay? So it's gonna take something huge, okay? It's gonna take something absolutely monstrous in order to stop the ass whipping that's coming, okay? God. I was laughing the first time. But now it's just this is just wrong on so many levels. Arm jokes aside, Abaddon versus the Jedi Council would win against Abaddon. Abaddon is strong, but he's not that strong. He's still, even though he's really, really, really chaos possessed and all the other kind of stuff. Yeah. You can't be Alfarius fan. I am Alfarius. And I know 5 other people that are Alfarius. What we need is General Giga Chad Grievous, who could fight an Eversor. No, maybe the one from the Clone Wars. Maybe. The swell guy he is needs to be there. Karn, yeah. Nothing bad will happen. Surely not. Surely not at all, guys. Surely not. Guys. Yeah. Abaddon has plot armor, okay, yeah. Unleash Kato, yeah. The one way it could get worse if it was a tomb world the whole time. I want the Republic to realize. Oh, God. And let's not forget they've been providing a reserve force. Yeah, this is true. God, it keeps getting worse. You think the Yuzon Vog are going to laugh at the Imperium kicking the Republic's ass? I think the Yuzon Vong are turning around right now, okay? I think it's turning around, okay? The line is going to clap Angron, calling it now. Yeah, I'm pretty much convinced that that's going to happen. Imagine if Sly Marbo showed up. I don't want to think about that because the sheer fact of the matter is at that point it becomes... If Sly Marbo just strolls out of the Basilica on Axiom, we can fade this whole story to black at that very moment. Because I don't care if the whole Jedi Council there. I don't care if Palpatine's there. I don't care what in the absolute hell is happening. Okay? I don't care what all is happening. If Sly Marbo walked out, fan could be like, done. It's done. It's over. And every one of us would know what was happening. Everybody be asking me to explain Sly Marbo. Guys, that's it. Apparently Fan is uploading tomorrow. That means Thursday night shenanigans are going to be replaced by Star Wars vs. 40K. Which episode is it going to be? Is it going to be part 3 there? Is it going to be part 3, Fan? Marbo killed the Titan solo. This is true. Marbo slaughtered an entire convoy of Tau. Don't forget Kaifas Kane on Tatooine. Yeah, I know, buddy. I know. Oh, good God. How do you think Darth Maul is reacting to this situation? With laughter. Yeah, that's it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and head out. We're going to be checking out the next part of this episode. I am going to be meeting with the A5 Council to discuss my first SCP video. Hopefully I'll be meeting with some of them tonight. You still want Kriegers versus Droid formation? I don't know why, but it would be awesome. This is true. You want the Jedi to meet a Chaos Knight so badly? I don't. Star Wars fans, stop hurting us. We're already dead. Also, hear me out. Salamanders and Lamenters go on adventure with each other. That would be great. Dark Angels and Fallen Angels will be added in this. We need to hunt for the Fallen spread in the Star Wars galaxy. Oh my God. Really? No. Stop it. Guys, we're going to head out. Thanks for joining me. Oh God, it just keeps on getting bad. It just keeps on getting worse. It just keeps on getting... This is where I died. Thank you, Crowborn. Thank you. But that SCP took 2 videos to explain to me. I appreciate it, Crowborn, because, well, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then 0. You know what I mean. Thank you, buddy. We will see, like, I am going to be uploading us. What did I check out? I checked out The Child That Hungers from the Vulcan last night. And, yeah. Yeah, all that you would need to say, Robert, is the Fallen were on Coruscant. Guys, I checked out the Child Hungers from the Vulcan last night. I'll be uploading that soon. Now, the A5 Council, the special group that I have right now for the Discord, I hope to speak with you guys soon about the SCP script I've written. And, yeah, I know you will, Diclonius. Yelk Studios has a few good SCPs ideas you might like to see. One thing real quick while I have a bunch of people here. I'm considering what would happen if a craft world entered the galaxy, good, bad, peace, or war? Probably good. If a craft world entered the Star Wars galaxy, they would be left alone. And they would figure that out relatively quickly. And everybody would kind of just back off of them, and that would be fine. The Eldar would do well in the Star Wars galaxy. I'm just saying. I'll bring it up later. Guys, I'll catch you next time. Fan, X in chat for Fan. Once again, delivering nightmares to kids of all ages. Will we ever get our 40K waifu simulator? On that, I'm leaving. I'll catch you guys later. Oh my God.